And knowing the way this has gone so far, it's probably an insult toward people from another state. So who have we done so far? We've done Idaho, we've done Colorado, we haven't done Wyoming, right? They can dish it out. Can they take it? Time is about to tell. Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to regionalisms, specifically regionalisms that are found throughout the United States. Since the turn of the year, I've looked at several regions' unique vocabulary, and in the process tried to guess their meaning and making a fool of myself. And today, for your viewing pleasure, I'll be doing the exact same thing for the Rocky Mountain region. As you may have noticed, I am a bit under the weather at the moment, and medication does tend to send me a little loopy. So if any of these words give me the giggles, it's not my fault. It's your fault. It's not your fault. Sorry, that's the medication talking. Without further ado, here are 15 words from the mountain states and my attempt to guess their meaning. $1.98, which obviously is 1 cent below $1.99, which suggests that this is indicating that maybe something is cheap, that it cost $1.98. It didn't literally cost $1.98, but it's to say that, you know, this leg of meat or whatever you buy in Montana is cheap, and that's what I think $1.98 means. Let's have a look. It means it's expensive. I don't understand that, because that's a low amount of money comparatively, isn't it? I don't know, are you from Montana? Are you cheap? Not like that, but if you are from there and you use this phrase, let me know in the comments below. Same with this one. How this is an unbelievable phrase. It almost sounds like British slang for something that I can't mention on YouTube. I imagine it's probably not that, because this isn't British slang, this is Montana slang. I think a jockey box is probably a sports term, isn't it? When I think of the term box, I think of that protective equipment that cricketers wear around their, you know, to protect them from getting hit by the ball. And I think that's what's going on here. I mean, think of the word jockey, you think of people that ride horses. You know, I don't know why they'd be wearing one. I suppose it is uncomfortable to be doing this. Sorry, that's just, I mean, that's the medication again. Jockey box, though, is that. I think it's that protective equipment that particularly male sports people wear to stop the pain. A jockey box is a glove compartment. I went through all of that to find out that it's that. I can't think why it would be called that, really. Maybe it goes back to when we had CDs in cars, right? And we could play them in the CD player and we'd keep them in the glove compartment. And the reason I say that is a jockey could be a disc jockey, the one who plays and rotates the music. This is brilliant. That's not an official etymology for this word. It's my etymology for this word that I just made up. Are these all just British slang? Spud muncher just sounds like something that a British school kid would come up with. Oi, Daz, you spud muncher. How's it going, mate? Again, I don't think that it would be used in quite that way by Americans. I just can't really see it. So I think it's more literal than that. Spud obviously means potato. Muncher means to eat something. So you put the two together. I mean, logic would tell us that that's somebody who eats potatoes. But who doesn't eat potatoes? Maybe it's somebody who only eats potatoes, and they're really going to be in trouble, I think. So a spud muncher is somebody that only eats potatoes. Spud muncher is Montana speak for somebody from Idaho. Oh, because Idaho is known for growing potatoes. How do people in Idaho feel about that? Is that one of those that's taken in good light, or is it really derogatory? I'd love to know. I'm all about interregional rivalries. So again, if you're from Montana and you've heard this phrase before, let me know in the comments below. And if you are in fact a spud muncher, say hi. Prairie maggots. This one does sound like it's an insult. Probably somebody who lives in a kind of prairie state. So piggybacking, as they say in America, off the previous entry, I think this is an insult to people from Kansas. Because I just think of prairie states, prairie maggots are people from there. I hope not, because if there are people from Kansas watching this, then I, the messenger, am going to get bombarded with hate. No, thank goodness, it apparently means sheep. I could see that though, because I think sheep from far away probably do look like maggots. Thankfully, in my experience, they don't taste like them, which then leads you to ask, how do you know what maggots taste like? I was 6 once. Okay, apparently this one comes from Wyoming. Greenies. As soon as I said it out loud, I just thought of vegetables, like it's an extended way of saying greens. Again, it kind of reminds me of a British tendency to elongate words by ending e's onto the end. You know, like a box of chockies. So greenies, in my opinion, is what the people of the Kingdom of Wyoming call vegetables. No, it turns out that greenies is a term for people from Colorado. Why is that? They're called greenies because Coloradans have green license plates. This is absolutely wild, guys. I mean, how do people from Colorado feel about this? So what color license plates do Wyoming people have? Mostly blue or yellow. I suppose you can't really condense that into a very pithy insult. Ooh, I'm a big scary Coloradan, you blello. That it's a blending of blue and yellow. It really poor. A gully washer sounds positively filthy. There's no other way of thinking about this because I'm from England. But a gully is kind of a ravine, isn't it? That was formed, I think, by water. But I mean, once again, it sounds like it's probably an insult of some kind. I'm trying to think of neighboring states because it seems like there's a theme here. We've done Colorado, we've done Idaho. I think this is an insult towards South Dakotans. The people of Wyoming are wary of those Badland gully washers. Now that I say it like that, I think I'm wary of Badland gully washers. South Dakota, what are you doing? Let's see. It's nothing to do with South Dakotans. A gully washer is an extremely heavy fall of rain, usually of short duration. This is something I'm finding during this series. A lot of regions have very specific weather-related terms. Spinning cookies. The first image that popped into my head when I read that was taking a cookie, or as we say in the UK, a biscuit, and spinning it on your finger as if it were a basketball or that thing that David Bowie has in Labyrinth. I just can't believe that this is something so practiced that there's an entire word for it. So let's see what it means. It means car donuts. What is that? Car donuts. Performing this maneuver entails rotating the rear or front of the vehicle around the opposite set of wheels in a continuous motion, creating ideally a circular skid mark pattern of rubber on a carriageway and possibly even causing the tyres to emit smoke from friction. Do people do that? Is it sports related? Do you ever do this while reaching into your jockey box? Okay, a little bit of Colorado slang. Peak bagger. First thoughts are this pertains to grocery stores, and it's one of those shop assistants that helps you with your bagging. And a peak bagger is an absolute veteran of this. They've been doing it for 20 years, and they bag just better than anyone else. And so the kids these days refer to them as peak bagger. A peak bagger is somebody who climbs a lot of mountains for the sake of crossing them off his or her bucket list. A bagger, somebody who bags something. So in Britain, we'd say something like, I bagged a great deal on that dress. You know, that's not an example of my own, but something that my wife might have said. If she was British, she isn't. 14er probably has something to do with the age 14, doesn't it? Is Colorado a state where you learn to drive at 14 and therefore somebody who is driving at 14 is referred to as a 14er? It's sort of a good way to just be a little bit aware of that, because if I'm driving on the road, and nobody wants to see that, but if I was driving on the road, I'd be a little bit concerned about sharing it with somebody who still watches the Cartoon Network. And so I think people from Colorado feel the exact same way that I do, and they refer to these people as 14ers. No, a 14er is a mountain that's over 14,000 feet. Living in Chicago, I'm going to try to relate to that in the only way that I can, and that's by looking at the tallest skyscraper in Chicago, which is the Willis Tower, which clocks in at just over 1,400 feet, meaning that those mountains are 10 times the height. It's a different world. It is a different world, and that's why a lot of these regionalisms happen, and I don't hear about them because I live in the 7th flattest place in the world. That isn't statistically true. Gaper. Obviously the first thing that comes to mind when I think of that is somebody who gapes. Like somebody screaming in a horror film or posing for a YouTube thumbnail. So I think a gaper is someone who's commonly surprised or frightened by something. Well, apparently a gaper in Colorado is an inexperienced skier on the slopes. I confess that I myself would be a gaper if I tried this. Flatlanders. I think I see where this is going. Flatlander is somebody like me who lives in flatlands, right? It seems like from these expressions, people in Colorado are very proud of their mountain lifestyle, to the extent that they have actual words to describe people that aren't a part of that. A flatlander is a person who lives at lower elevations, so they have to get used to higher elevations. And that's me. I'm a flatlander and I own it, because when I visited Denver, my ears popped. All right, we've got a couple from Idaho. IFTOWN. This sounds like a place to me. Don't know where, don't know when. This sounds like an abbreviation, I think. We do this everywhere, right? In Indianapolis, you had Naptown. So IFTOWN would be what? Iffington Town, Iffy Town. Can't think of anything that this would be. My Idaho geography is decent, having been there multiple times. If. Nothing's jumping out at me. Okay, I can't get the specific thing, but do I get half a point if I am correct that this is an abbreviation of a town? IFTOWN is Idaho Falls, where I've been, and I didn't hear anybody referring to it as IFTOWN. But now that I know that, I will forever think of IFTOWN as that place that I definitely didn't slip into the waterfall. A carrot snapper, right? Again, it sounds like something we would say on the playground in Britain. But like I said earlier, usually those taboo phrases don't really transition well to America. So it likely means something else. I mean, it still sounds like an insult. And knowing the way this has gone so far, it's probably an insult toward people from another state. So who have we done so far? We've done Idaho, we've done Colorado, we haven't done Wyoming, right? They can dish it out. Can they take it? Time is about to tell, because I think the people of Wyoming are carrot snappers. And don't take this snippet out of context and post it on social media. I was actually on the right track, but instead a carrot snapper isn't a person from Wyoming. A carrot snapper is a person from Utah. Again, those aren't my words, those are the words of the people of Idaho. Or at least some of them, because what I find with all of these words is that most of the state doesn't use them. But when you're in the know, you're in the know. And speaking of the people of Utah, we're going to finish today with a couple of their words and phrases. The first of which is ward. I think of hospital ward. A ward is how they refer to Idahoans, right? Because they think that people from Idaho look sick or something. I'm taking this way too far. Probably because I'm sick myself. But a ward in Utah is a congregation of Mormons. And finally, biffed it. When I think of the word biffed, I just think to get hit, right? He was biffed in the face. But it suggests a non-living entity. So they biffed the wall, or they biffed the table, or they biffed the robot. A robot's living? Can we say that? I don't know. Either way, I think biffed it means to hit it with real force and venom. In fact, no, biffed it apparently means that somebody fell over. So to amend that earlier sentence, IFTOWN is a place that I definitely never biffed it into a waterfall. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below if you live in a region of the United States and if you have any slang terms that I should try to guess the meaning of. I'm Lawrence Brown. Come and join me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. And a 14er-sized shout out to my patrons who make these videos possible. If you would like to support Lost in the Pond, you can do so today at patreon.com/lostinthepond. Until the next video, goodbye.